Find me any pilot, just something with engines, Colonel Barrett barked, pointing at maps littered in red, a unit stranded and no backup in sight. A staffer quietly spoke up. We've got one A-10 pilot ready and waiting. He scoffed. An A-10? That thing's a relic. But less than 3 minutes later, a deep, rumbling engine ripped overhead, a warthog slicing so low it shook the glass. Barrett jumped to his feet. Who the hell's flying that hog? The setting, Ashland Joint Support Base. Alpha 3 was stuck deep in Rebel Zone K3. Reports confirmed enemy fire closing in fast, support delayed by interference in the airwaves. Colonel Barrett snapped again. Get anyone in the air, just jets, and I need them here in under 15. The staff rattled off options. F-35s grounded, F-18s mid-refuel. A junior officer cautiously added, There's a pilot just outside the zone. She's flying an A-10C and says she's ready. Barrett shook his head. Not asking for a flying bulldozer, get me jets. But suddenly, satellite pinged a warning. An A-10 was inbound toward Zone K3. No orders, no clearance. Who signed off on that launch? One officer asked. The response came fast. No one. She just heard the distress and took off. The ops room buzzed with unease. Barrett snatched the mic. Unidentified A-10, state your ID and return to base. That's an order. Nothing but static. The comms officer flipped frequencies. A-10 in K3 airspace, do you read? More silence. Then the radar tech looked up. She's flying in silent, but her heading's locked on the infantry's last known. Barrett slammed his palm on the table. She's busting every regulation we've got. Who is she? The support tech checked the logs. Call signs Raven 13. But, sir, there's no one active under that name. Barrett leaned in. What do you mean, no one? I mean, Raven 13 was removed from all rosters. Retired, said a senior officer, glancing up. That tag was deactivated after Operation Hoarfrost, 3 years ago. Silence took the room. The radar still hummed, showing that lone A-10 closing in. Barrett stared at it. Pull everything we've got on Raven 13. Sir, that file's sealed. Don't care if it's buried under the Pentagon. I've got a rogue pilot in a war zone. I want answers. Just then, the radio crackled. Any station, this is Alpha 3. We're pinned down, taking heavy fire. Need air cover now. This is base. Support is inbound. How long? We're not going to hold. Before anyone could reply, a clear female voice broke through. Alpha 3, Raven 13. Here, I see your position. The room froze. Barrett leaned into the mic. Raven 13, you're not cleared for this op. Return to base, he ordered. Her voice came back calm and focused. Alpha 3 needs help. I'm in place to give it. Raven 13, that's a direct command. RTB now. A beat passed. Colonel, with respect, those troops don't have time to wait on red tape. Silence. Then Alpha 3's voice returned, tense and cracking. Any air at all, please. We're out of time. Barrett stared at the radar, then the mic. A long pause. Then finally, Raven 13, you are cleared to engage. There was no reply. She'd already started her run. I stopped waiting for orders the day I waited too long, and lost everyone before thanks could be said. The A-10 dropped in low, hugging radar at 300 feet, creeping forward slow, the unmistakable flying tank silhouette. On the ground, troops shouted, "That's a warthog. We've got air." Colonel Barrett darted to the screen, reading the label. Raven 13, no unit attached. Over internal comms, her voice came through, calm and sharp. Raven 13 on station. Mark targets. Kill the lasers. I'm going visual. The coordination tech yelled back, "What? That's analog aiming?" "No one flies visual in this kind of fog," someone muttered. But the next sound silenced doubt. The thunder of a GAU-8 cannon tore through the air. Seconds later, 3 enemy artillery nests erupted in fire. The infantry cheered. That was pinpoint air support. Someone asked, "Who is she?" As she pulled off, Raven 13's voice hit the net. Alpha 3 will survive. Exiting airspace. They scrambled to keep contact, but she cut the channel before anyone could get a name. The ops room sat still, the gravity of it sinking in. A junior analyst whispered, "Did she just pull off perfect CAS using visual aim in near-blind conditions?" The radar tech leaned in closer. Her flight path was something else. Hugged the ridges, stayed below terrain shadow, and came in from a vector that gave flawless target spacing. Barrett hit the mic again. "Raven 13, come in. We need your debrief." No answer. "Raven 13, that's a direct command. Return to base now." Still dead air. Then Alpha 3 patched in again, voices shaking with relief. "Base, this is Alpha 3. The artillery's gone. That pilot, I've never seen CAS that exact." "Can you confirm?" someone asked. 3 hidden gun emplacements taken out clean. No overspray. No blue on blue, and all with no target locks. Our own systems couldn't even acquire. A tech officer dug into the logs. She fired only 60 rounds from the GAU-8. Heads turned. 60, someone repeated. Most would burn triple that for the same effect. Barrett faced his staff. "How the hell is that even possible?" An older voice cut in. It came from a retired A-10 driver turned advisor. "Sir, that kind of precision. That's not just skill. That's years of flying where a miss wasn't an option." "What do you mean?" Barrett asked. "I mean," the man said quietly, "whoever Raven 13 is, she's flown where every shot had to count. No margin. No retries." The comms tech tried again. "Raven 13, are you reading? Please respond. We just want to say thank you." Still nothing. Then Alpha 3 cut in again. "Base, we're mobile, moving to the evac point now. Just wanted to say, that pilot saved all 12 of us." Colonel Barrett sank into his chair. 12 soldiers alive, because someone ignored orders. "I said no, A-10s, he muttered. "I made it clear. I wanted jets, nothing else," Barrett muttered. "If she'd listened." He didn't finish. He didn't need to. A junior officer approached, cautious. "Colonel, should we report the unsanctioned op?" Barrett stared at the display showing Alpha 3 moving safely. "Report what? That someone not on our roster flew a flawless CAS op and saved a dozen men?" "Well, yes, sir." "Protocol," Barrett said dryly. "Protocol would have left Alpha 3 in pieces while we waited on the proper paperwork." The room went quiet again. Then the radar tech broke in. "Sir, A-10's gone off our scopes. She's completely out of range now." "Any clue on her heading?" "No, sir. She dipped below radar and used the hills to vanish." Barrett turned to the officer who'd first brought up Raven 13. "You said her call sign was retired after Hoarfrost?" "Yes, sir." "What exactly happened during Hoarfrost?" The man hesitated. "Sir, I'd need clearance. Files are restricted." "Then get clearance," Barrett said flatly. "Sir, that process—" "Don't care. Someone just saved 12 soldiers. I want to know who and why she's not on any list." As they began accessing the sealed files, Alpha 3's final message came through. "Base, this is Alpha 3. We've made it to extraction. Tell Raven 13. We owe her our lives." Barrett leaned into the mic. "Copy that, Alpha 3. Welcome back. Base, one last thing. Whoever she was, the way she flew, the way she hit those targets, this wasn't normal air support." "What do you mean?" Barrett asked. "I mean," the voice said, "this was someone who's done it before. Where close enough wasn't good enough. I'm not listed on today's mission either, but I fly because once I waited, and no one came." After the rescue, Barrett ordered a full inquiry. Who is Raven 13? No one had her listed, but an older technician suddenly remembered. Raven 13 had once belonged to a pilot pulled from active service after Hoarfrost. They dug up the records. Name: Samantha Voss, A-10 pilot. Decorated for navigating her squadron through a zone where comms and GPS had been fried by enemy jammers. 18 troops saved, but she'd launched without clearance, so they grounded her. She vanished after that. Never logged another flight. One technician said she left with a final line. "As long as someone's down there needing help, I'll keep flying." Barrett didn't say much. Then he gave his order. "Put Raven 13 back on the emergency list, and next time, don't judge a pilot by the tail number." The tech scanned further. "Colonel, there's more. About Hoarfrost." "Go ahead," Barrett said, leaning closer. "That op was doomed from day one. They sent in a mixed squadron based on bad intel." Barrett narrowed his eyes. "What kind of intel?" "The reports missed one thing," the tech answered. "The enemy had advanced SAMs. None of that was in our briefings. They were also running heavy jamming. GPS and radios went dead." That's when a quiet senior officer finally spoke. "I remember Hoarfrost. We lost 6 birds and 22 crew in the opening wave." The tech gave a grim nod. "That's when Voss launched. No orders, no backup. She flew blind. No comms, no nav, just visuals, right into enemy airspace. And somehow, she found all 18 survivors, spread over 30 square miles of hostile ground." Barrett leaned in, eyes fixed on the file. "How'd she pull off a rescue without comms?" "She didn't organize it, sir," the tech said. "She did it." "Meaning?" Barrett asked. The senior officer replied, "She flew the shield, made herself the target while rescue teams pulled people out." "She went back," Barrett said. "Not once." 17 separate runs. 8 hours of flying straight into SAM fire again and again. The room fell quiet, the weight of it settling over everyone. The tech picked up again. On her last run, she got hit bad. Hydraulics gone, engine failing, nav wrecked. But she still landed. Barely. Emergency set down on a rural road 20 miles out. Jet didn't make it. She did. Barrett looked up, stunned. So why was she suspended? The officer's tone went cold. She broke direct orders. HQ had canceled all further attempts, said it was too dangerous. She was told to not attempt a rescue? Told to stand down, he confirmed. Command had accepted those 18 as lost. The words hung, heavy. "And she flew anyway," Barrett murmured. "She flew anyway." He shut the file. "What happened during the hearing?" The technician scanned notes. She was told, "Take the reprimand, keep flying, or defend her decision and be discharged." What did she pick? She said, and I quote, "I won't apologize for saving 18 people. If that gets me kicked out, so be it." So they cut her loose, the same pilot who pulled off the best combat rescue we've seen in decades. One of the comms techs chimed in. "What about the ones she saved?" 15 went back to duty. 2 were medically retired. 1 became an instructor. And they all testified? Every last one of them. They petitioned the brass to undo it. "Didn't work?" Barrett asked. The officer shook his head. Command said reversing it would set the wrong example. "They made it official," he said. Barrett stood, walked over to the window facing the runway. "So, she got thrown out, for saving lives." "That's the summary, sir." The room was still. Barrett turned again. "And now she's still out there. Still flying? Alone?" The tech nodded slowly. The files note 17 unsanctioned rescues in the last 3 years. All happened when official teams were told to stand down. Too risky. 17? Barrett echoed. 17 times someone got air support from a ghost A-10. No request, no thanks. Just showed up, finished the job, vanished. Barrett faced the team. "Show me the trend." Maps hit the table. Pins and notes already marked. The comms officer pointed. All of them, every op, followed a mission cancellation. "And the timing?" Barrett asked. "In every case, she flew in within hours of command pulling the plug." Barrett traced the line on the map with his finger, absorbing it. "Feels like she's tapped into our comms. Like she's listening for every call we choose not to answer." "Sir, that would mean she's accessing secured military channels," one officer said. "She used to have access," Barrett replied. "Maybe she never lost it." A security analyst spoke up, cautious. If she's still in those systems, that's a major breach. Barrett turned to him. 17 rescues, 67 people brought back, 0 deaths, and you're worried about encryption. Sir, the regulations. Regulations said Alpha 3 had to wait and die while we checked boxes. Is that what you'd prefer? The room went quiet. Barrett gave his order. Reinstate Raven 13. Not officially, emergency use only. But sir, she's not in the system anymore, the officer pushed. Then don't log it, just make it possible. Possible how? Make sure when no one else can answer, there's a channel left open, just in case. The senior officer finally nodded. A fallback, when official help fails. Exactly, Barrett said. And what if she doesn't want to come back? Asked the tech. Barrett looked down at the ops map still lit from Alpha 3's extraction. She already came back, we're just catching up. Comment for the one who launched anyway. If you believe some orders get answered before they're even spoken. 3 days later, just before sunrise, a lone A-10 emerged through the mist at Auxiliary Field A-17. No pilot was seen. In the seat, only a single note. I'm not here for thanks, just for proof they made it out alive. Alpha 3 later mailed up a badge engraved simply, to Raven 13, who saw before radar did. No one ever saw Samantha Voss again, but in every zone too hot for anyone else, a signal would quietly flash across the board. Raven 13 in vicinity. Colonel Barrett drove out to Field A-17 that same morning after reports of an unregistered aircraft landing. The old Warthog was sitting right there on the strip. No clearance, no flight record. Security had locked it down, but Barrett waved them off. Stand back. I need to see it. He approached the A-10, climbed to the cockpit, and found the paper. After reading it, he just stood there a moment. Quiet, thoughtful. A maintenance NCO walked up. Sir, should we impound this thing? Barrett glanced over the old machine. Despite its age, it looked combat-ready. Every line told a story. How's the condition? Sir, this bird's cleaner than most of our fleet. Someone's been taking care of her. Serious care. Any clue where it's been? No record, sir, but from the tweaks and wear, I'd say it's been solo for years. Barrett circled the aircraft slowly, eyes scanning the hull. Reinforced armor, custom avionics. Everything modified by someone who knew combat. Not theory, but survival. Sergeant, have this aircraft moved to Hangar 7, behind security, but don't process it as evidence. Sir, treat it like a reserve unit. Someone might need it again. Word about the ghost A-10 moved fast around the base. Pilots began stopping by, eager to see the aircraft that had pulled off the impossible. Check these mods, one pilot said. Whoever flies this, they know exactly what they're doing. That targeting array's been rebuilt from scratch. This is elite work. And look at the ammo racks, another added, set up for max output with zero waste. A veteran who'd flown A-10s leaned close, inspecting every detail. This isn't just upkeep, he murmured. This is personal. How do you mean? I mean, someone loved this jet. This kind of care? It's from the heart. Colonel Barrett returned the next morning, badge in hand, the one Alpha 3 had sent. He set it inside the cockpit, right where the note had been left. A security officer stepped up. Sir, we've had reports someone's visiting the aircraft at night. Did you run it down? We tried, but whoever it is, they slip past every patrol. Barrett gave a faint smile. Maybe they're not meant to be caught. Sir? Some things work better when we don't get in the way. Over the next few weeks, ground crews kept noticing the same odd thing. The Warthog was always spotless, always combat-ready, but no one ever logged a single maintenance order. It's like she gets serviced when no one's watching, a crew chief reported. By who? No clue, sir, but they know these systems better than we do. Barrett issued a quiet directive. Hangar 7 would stay secure, but rules around after-hours access? Flexible. No one needed to say it out loud. Someone was keeping the bird flight ready, and the base was going to let it happen. "What do we call this setup?" his deputy asked. "We call it insurance," Barrett replied, "for when the system doesn't show up." Comment: "I'd fly cover for that A-10 any day, if you believe trust is earned above, not inked below." At Base HQ, a small metal plaque was mounted. No name, just a silhouette of an A-10 slicing through haze. Beneath it, a single line, Raven 13. It became legend fast. New flyers were quietly briefed. If someone calls for air and no one answers, Raven 13 might have heard it already. And if you spot an old warthog tucked in a corner, not on any manifest, don't touch it. That one belongs to someone who gets there before the orders do. The plaque grew into a symbol among the crews. Rookies would ask. Veterans would explain it slowly, with respect. Who was Raven 13? Someone who understood. Saving lives matters more than ticking boxes. "Is she still flying?" someone once asked. "She flies," came the answer, "when she's needed." What began as an unofficial act grew into something rare in military air operations. Whenever official channels said the risk was too high, when command gave the call to stand down, one last option remained, a quiet frequency, never formally logged yet somehow always picked up. A call sign never on the roster, but always there when it counted. An aircraft no one claimed to service, yet somehow always armed, fueled, and ready. Colonel Barrett stepped down 2 years later. At his farewell, he addressed a room full of pilots. "You'll face moments where the manual doesn't help, where what's right doesn't match what's written. And when you do," he said, eyes locking onto the Raven 13 plaque, "remember, the mission isn't to follow the book. It's to get your people home. Sometimes the real work happens outside the wire. That doesn't make it wrong. It makes it vital." After the send-off, a new note appeared inside the A-10's cockpit in Hangar 7. "Thanks for knowing some things matter more than protocol." Signed, simply, R-13. Colonel Sarah Chen, Barrett's successor, kept the Raven 13 arrangement in place. When challenged about it, she echoed his words. "Not all capabilities fit into the standard model. That doesn't mean they should be scrapped." Over the next 3 years, the Warthog flew 12 more missions. Each time it came when official teams couldn't. Each time it vanished once the job was done. The Raven 13 plaque took on deeper meaning among flyers. It wasn't just about one pilot anymore. It was about the idea that some operations matter too much to wait for permission. New recruits were brought before the plaque. No speeches, just silence and understanding. They weren't being welcomed into a unit. They were being welcomed into a promise. Do what it takes to bring people home. And somewhere, parked just off record, that old A-10 stayed sharp. Someone was still tending to it. Someone who knew that duty doesn't end when the papers are signed. Years later, one final line was added to the plaque. Just 8 words, for those who fly when others choose not to. If this story struck a chord with you, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Old Bill's Tales. We tell the stories that were never meant to disappear. Stories told by real people, for the ones who never stopped showing up.